Faithful. Okay, he's faithful. He's faithful. Yes, we rejoice. I rejoice. I rejoice today. I rejoice. Yes, he's faithful. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everyone. How are you today? Yes, he's faithful. He's faithful. He's a faithful God. Today, it's Friday. Friday. What day is it today? The 29th day of September. September is almost over, you know. And I look forward to October and the days ahead with good blessings from the Almighty. So today we're talking about fueling our mind through good health. You know, good health is important. It's of maximum that our health is doing all it can do for each and every one of us, simply because we are children of the Most High, and we have to look after our bodies, our minds, our spirits. And today, on the 29th day, or the second to last day of September 2023, it says it's the Rosh Hashanah, meaning the spirit of liberty. And the Lord said in his word in 2 Corinthians 3:17, now the Lord is a spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. You know, the emancipation from your bondage, from, your freedom. Are you living in the freedom that Christ bought for you? Or are you still living in bondage to sin and the lust of the flesh, or to the bondage of legalism? You know, the law. He came to do away with the law and give us that almighty grace that we are so happy to enjoy at this point in time in our lives. So when we go to the Word of God and we go to our day-to-day, we realize that everything, like I said, came from the Word to remind us how to live and how to behave and who we are and whose we are, so that we can live in that state. I'm not quite sure if Minister Merle is on. She may be, or she may not be, but if she is, bless the Lord, bless the Lord. But think about our world. Think about what's going on today. Food shortages, economic downfall. Things are taking place here and there. People are moving from one place to the other. You know, it reminds me of the time when, the people were running when the Lord, Pharaoh was asked by Moses, let my people go. But because, sometimes we live in worlds and with people with minds and isms doing and saying different things based on the human knowledge and human wisdom only. But when we look at life, we have to look at life on a higher perspective, on a deeper perspective. Today I read something that Brother John sent to me, and it was so profound. No man is an island. No man is an island. And the word of God says, when you want to be treated a certain way, you treat people the way you want to be treated, so that the love will return in the same measure. Like when he return us our tithes and offerings that we hand back to God, and he give it back to us, shaken, pressed down, in full measure. That's what it's all about. So let us look at life. Let us look at this topic today. How do you fuel the mind through good health? Because people say the modern sayings are your health is your wealth. But bless the Lord for the health that He gave you. Because you might be healthy as a horse, and you get into an accident. Your body is injured. Lives may be lost. So we have to look at life for what it's giving us and to be able to say, this is life, this is what life is giving me, and how am I looking at life? How am I taking life? It comes like a home. If a fire comes in your house and you lose your house, but your life is saved, how grateful are you? Because you're saved. The house is gone, yes. There's insurance in our times, but your life is saved. You did not perish. You wake up this morning and you're feeling great. What's more important? What is the most important thing about waking up? That you have life and you have it more abundantly. Everything has been added unto us. And think about it. When you leave this world, naked you came, naked you're going. You can't take one thing with you. Not one single thing, except what they put on you, and they don't even put it on you. It's put around you. It's just a covering on the top, something on the face. Everything is going back, dust to dust and ashes to ashes. So let us give thanks for life and all that we have that belong to the Lord that He lent us. Because as I say, we can't take it with us. Health is important. So look after your health. Strength is important. Look after your strength. It's important to have a mindset of healing along with the word, if you know the word. How do we create a positive mindset? What are we putting in our temples that's going to cause us to have a positive mindset? What are you putting in this brain of yours? What are you filling your temples with? What is the conversation of the day? Is it all positive or is it all negative? Is it a mix of things? What's going to cause you to feel better? Think about life and what it has to offer you and how you're taking it. Think about the things that you do for God, not for man, for God. If I go out and I do something and I pick something up or buy something, I do it unto God, not unto man. Because man cannot give me anything. Man has to give to God has to give the man to give to me. That's how it is. And He did say, because of our ways, we lost out and we have to go and work for our bread. In the next life, we don't have to work for bread. We just have to have a righteous relationship with Christ. But are we preparing for that? He says there are 12 different fruit trees in the next life that bears every month, that will feed us immensely. So when you know the word and you know the word, how the word falls in with our day-to-day, you're able to be more powerful in executing the word. You're able to be more powerful in doing the things that are of God, and do it with joy. Think of life. Think of fueling your life with what? And your mind through your health. Because all the negative things we put in our lives, it keeps us feeling unhealthy. It breaks us down. If you think of Christ's life, his life was positive. It was all about humanity. What he's giving back to humanity. Grace, mercy, peace. Teach us to be loving, giving, sharing, understanding. These are the things he taught us. He asked one child, after speaking to them, who has food? And from that one person's little meal, he fed thousands from the different places as he spoke. And we can feed thousands as long as it's healthy food, not poisonous food. It has to be food that is going to do something for you. It's not food that's going to go in here, form an opinion, and fly out here. It's food that will be lasting. Your spiritual food is the most important food that you can eat in this whole world, because it fills all the different pockets of lives that we have to come across day to day, so that as we go along life's way, we're able to think, to choose, to have the mindset of Christ. It's not about we say or we do. It's how we live with the human beings around us. All these other things will be added unto you. And sometimes when they add it, people can't even pay attention to the fact that they've been added. So, what you give unto God, he certainly will give back to you. How we think, how a man thinks, so we see. How do you think? How do you think? Positively? We cannot think about ourselves only. We have to think about us all the time. Otherwise, you don't make one human being. Right? The Bible says, go populate the earth. Fill it. So that people can learn to live together. You know, we have this nation and the nation, that nation over there, and this one don't like that one don't like this one don't like, and it's so engaged. Same way when we gossip. How could you gossip about somebody and look them in the face again? You know, how hypocritical is that? But people do those things. You're working in a place and someone wants to gossip about you and your performance, but in the meantime, they forget that while the time they took to gossip about you is the time they should have been performing in their position. All of these things people have to look at in life. They all have something in it. Minding their own business. Looking after things. Weighing and balancing things properly. Effectively. Showing kindness. True and true. These are the positive things we do in our lives. We don't do things to get accolades. We do it because we want to, we love the idea of doing it, and that's it. It's not a conversation piece. It's something we do and we walk away from it. It will show up itself in accolades on its own timing, not on anybody else's timing. It's like if you're given an award, you constantly call and say, hey, you know what? I know I'm doing well. So I need an award. I need a reward. Is that how it works? No, it doesn't. It's those who see what you do will come back and reward you. And the word is profound in that area. So how positive are you in the things that you have to do? What are you doing them for? Let's put Gem FM on the plan on the board conversation. Gem FM is here for one purpose and one purpose alone: to show the world that here we are. Here you are. They're here to do what needs to be done. See, God gives us ideas, and we take our ideas and we formulate things that will not benefit just us, but others. So that's what it's all about. That's why we have DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, so that we don't become self-centered or selfish, or we just don't sit and feel, this is it, what is going on, what is here. That's the way it goes. As a matter of fact, while I'm on, I'm seeing all the calls that are coming in, and the different thing. Nowadays, we have so many people that do fraud, they do wickedness, they do evil, and all the little numbers come up. I get a whole list of all these things. See, this is it. What are you doing with your time? Are you spending your time negatively? When you go on social media and see so much of them, they have so many negative things to say. The one person has an idea and everybody has something negative to say. The positives are there, but the negatives are more. Well, if you feel so negative about things, why don't you go and do something with your life that will bring you some opinions, some comments to make sure that you're doing things positively, and to give you the accolades that you want positively. That's how the world is. This is the world we live in. This is a world where there's so much happening, so much taking place. And we have so much negativity that the weather can't even come. The Lord's weather cannot even come for us properly. Look at the times. We're in the end of September and the weather is cold. The sun is shining brightly. We don't know where to go. We have pushed ourselves in such corners that we have done so much with our lives that look at where we're at as human beings, in such a beautiful place that the Lord has given us. Gratefulness and thankfulness. What are those? Where are those positive? People are sick more today than they were sick in the olden days when you had to go in the yard and pick up the herbs. Think about it. All sorts of things are happening. There's a war going on in Europe. And one leader cannot even think Why is it going on? It's not just another human. It's not to say you're fighting an alien that you don't know anything about. You're fighting human beings. It's how we make the choices we make in this life, the things that we do. You know, sometimes I sit back and I say to myself, what is going on? Ruling somebody, manipulating lives. Is that so great? Is that a great thing to do? Is that a positive thing? Is it just your idea that's important? Is that a positive thing? It's a controlling thing. When you want to control, you come up with all these things that are negative to do to people. I can't believe the war that these wars are going on. We had the first, the second, the third World War, and now we have wars between nations. People that see what truth and right is do not want to go with things that are not, and yet still they're fighting. Because one don't want to let go, and then it's like enslavement. You grab a people, my ancestors, bring them to the West forcefully, whether you pay the other tribes and give them this and say, well, get me some of them. It doesn't matter. But you're taking God's creation to do something selfish, taking them from who they are to make yourselves great. These are the things you look at. Is that a positive? That's why life has to have positivity in it. So be positive in all the things that you do. Be so positive. When we help, do we help for purpose? How do you help? Sometimes I think of the things that, how things are done, how things are formulated. I look at politics, the opposition, even though they know every one of the population has its benefits, yet still they will say negative things because they want the people to go this way. Do they know? Does the people know what the reserves has in it? Think about it. Sometimes I wonder. Because you don't know the system doesn't mean to say that everything that you hear on this side and that side is right or wrong. But you have to be able to find out answers to things. Why did they say this? Why did this one say that? Everything has purpose. Everything has purpose. So we have to look at positive things, look at positivity, because he who created us was not a negative person. He was a positive person, and he wasn't there to harm or hurt us. He was there to love and care for us and show us the way to love and care for others. So let's keep positivity as our number one goal in our lives as we go forth from this point on. If you're a positive person, kudos to you. I don't like negativity. I don't know why there's negativity. People put negativity in a pot, but you know what? We leave it where it is. So let's talk about other ways to fuel the mind to good health. Reading. What do you read? Books, Bible, novels, a whole, health, things about health, gardening, how to have nice indoor winter herb garden in pots, window on your windowsill, or just in pots anyway. Think about it. Do something that is positive, that you have, the satisfaction of knowing you've done this. It gives you that joy. You're able to get your little scissors, your kitchen scissors, and snip off some of the herbs, whether it is a chives or, whatever it is, There's so many things we can plant and, was it just a palm, just trees, plants in the house that you care for. I have three little plants. I had five and two died, and I enjoy them. I enjoy watering them. I go see how they're doing, say hi, look at my plants, how they're going. I talk to my plants. It's like the man who's farming. And I have family that farmed and still farm. When they plant their gardens, they go into the garden and they look at it. I remember going up to the countryside and seeing them looking and said, oh my gosh, the rows are looking good. And I'm watching long rows, whatever they plant. I can't even remember whether it's corn or whatever. But now I talk to one of my aunts in Trinidad, and they have just a piece of land, not too far from their home, where they plant a lot of everyday things like peas and, corn and herbs and all these different things. And they share them on the family and the neighbors in the neighborhood. That is such a good thing, The number one requirement for humanity is food security. So I don't know why agriculture in tropical countries haven't been at the maximum. We should be feeding the rest of the world that has different seasons. It can plant in the winter, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where governments, if they're thinking smart, they would be utilizing all the resources that they have and the minerals in terms of what they could do with them and how they could farm things through the farming. And good products that they can export as well as, have for the locally. So we have to think positively of our life going forward because, there's so many things happening. We had this COVID thing that came there. As soon as you get flu symptoms, they jumped and they name it. Well, what did God say about it? I'm still waiting to see that. But let's leave that to him. He's the master. The next thing we talk about is your environment. A little bit of exercise can help. Even if you sit there, move the hands, there's exercises that we do that will help us. Your hands, people hands suffer with, I get cramps in my hands, so I have certain type of gloves to wear, that help. But you also need to move that body of yours, exercise it, You don't have to run out there in the winter. You could stay at home. You could make laps in one spot, 5 steps backward, 5 steps forward. And you have your feet moving. Move up your legs slowly but surely. Don't sit and say, oh, I've got pain and aches. Yes, we have pain and aches. But you know what? The body is like it's full of hinges. It makes it move. So let us move all these little hinges so that we can do things, Sometimes you need to put your hand behind your back. Could you reach here? Put the next hand over here. Get it across and do little things to help us out. We're not too old. Do the facial muscle things. Twist them out here, twist it, this side, this side, this side, this side, So many little things we can do with the head. I remember my grandmother. If my head ached, she would say, come, let me squeeze your head. And she squeeze here, and she squeeze here. And what? How many of your grandmothers coming from the Caribbean know about these things, especially Trinidad and Tobago, that I know of. Fully. Minister Merle,
Good morning.
hey, you're up and about on the road again.
God is good.
Yes, yes, yes. We're talking about fueling the mind, through all these different, through good health, number one, and the little things we do for health, as grandmothers, we're so busy doing so active. All of us are 25 backwards and 72 and 75 backwards, 74 backwards, and the 60s backwards. When you look at us, we have energy. And I go back to my mom and they said, my God, they had strength from Mount Zion, Minister Merle.
Definitely.
Yeah, they had strength. Yeah, so today we talk about fueling the mind with good health. What can we fuel the mind with good health? What else do you think of good health? I know the word, we talk about the word as well,
Well, the way I look at it is very simple. God is my strength.
Amen.
When I fuel the mind with everything that's Christ-like, knowing that Christ lives in me, my mind is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run outside to get extras.
Nope.
Christ is clean. It's a total cleansing of the mind when we have Christ in us.
Yes, yes, yes. You inhale, we inhale him.
Everything you breathe, when you're knowing that he's in everything, the breath that you breathe in is Christ. So when you inhale in him. But
That's
your mind,
you're cleansing.
your mind totally stays pure and contamination. And I know that that I was so upset because the child of God used the word malice on me. And I thought, if Christ be in me, what part of my DNA really talk? I don't even talk malice. Malice to even want malice in me.
You don't want to be, don't bear it.
Don't bear the DNA of the world.
Yep.
The world DNA don't belong to Christ. He tells Satan long time, and Satan being the father of the world, he tell him, get thee behind me, Satan.
Yes.
So in all things, we give God thanks for that total Christ being in you, which gives you everything. It keeps you. When you wake up with us, I heard you talking about all the aches and the pains, right? We come up with so much aches and pains. Like, I wake in the morning and I sit at the end of my bed. And before I get out of the bed, I begin to give him thanks. Thanks that he's going to move the foot from one side to the other. Thanks that I'll be able to open the eyes and see. Because I'm telling you, down to your sight, when our age has come, we go to God to get sight, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's that strength, all, everything.
Yes, it's that strength.
It's everything.
Yeah.
He's the sight and everything that.
You reach where you're going?
No, I'm just doing something.
Okay. Yes, so Minister Merle, yes.
God's in you. He gives you everything.
That's right.
Mere fact that I always share about your strength, right? You have to move your foot, and the pain is so intense. I always say,
but
even Pastor Daphne, even the man who do not know God, right? When the pain come in their bodies,
he called on him.
They said, "Oh my God!" It's like I always, and they always say, "God have mercy," right? I always think of that, and I think of how much each and every one of us, whether we know God, we all come from him.
That's right.
We all God's children. Some of us choose to come into salvation, those that he choose.
That's right.
You know, and God gave you the wisdom to know how to exercise your hand. I was in a car with an older woman than me. She must have been in her 80s. And just like that, in the car, she started showing me how to do just ordinary ordinary exercises with the hand. I didn't say a word to her, right? But God just gives them that kind of wisdom.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, so
they have it. You see, here we are. That's and that's important. You know, it's making use of your environment, making use of your that positive, you know, energy that's inside of you that is God given. You know, it is so important. It is so very important to have all of those things. You know.
Yeah.
Then we talk about, you know, nutrition, how we eat, the things that we eat is important to our bodies.
You know, the thing is that the things that we eat it's so important, but like my sister said, I need more protein. You know, I have this thing that I really don't like meat, right? You know, I don't like meat. And the other thing is, and then they said I'm allergic to fish, right? So, and I'm not a big person on the I told you, I broke out with the fish and all of that. And I'm not a big fan of all the beans, you know.
Wow.
But I could cook a good lentil soup. But, you know, that's not enough protein. And then, you know, people tell me, stay off the cheese because it will raise my cholesterol, right?
Wow.
So I basically have to go to like really cook a lot of veggies and enjoy that, you know, a lot of my salads and stuff. But
becoming a vegan.
Yeah, it's easy for me because I don't really like meat and stuff, right?
Wow.
So, but we really have to have a balanced diet, though.
Definitely. Oh, you know, you have to have the food groups that are necessary for the body.
And then if I choose to go and eat nuts, it's the same thing. Like so many things over the years I could have eaten and now I can't. Because even if I eat nuts, like I said to you, Pastor Daphne, if I have to do things, I just take an allergy pill. Right? I said, no.
I never thought of that. But when you said that to me, I was laughing way past the time we came off the phone talking about that.
But it's a reality. If I want to go to a fish and chip place, right? I'll take an allergy pill because I would have piece of fish when I go out and I wouldn't get, you know. And then if I want to sit like and have a little cashew nut or something, right? I take an allergy pill because I want to eat some nuts. Otherwise, I suffer in my mouth. I get cankers.
Yeah, get the cankers, yes.
Wow. You know, so I just take the take an allergy. I know you laugh at it, but you know, I can't.
No, because when you told me myself. That, I sat and I was processing that thing over and over and over. Because you know what I remember? Do you remember when Naya had that allergy?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Somebody said to me, you are just a greedy person. You just love food. And I go, well, all of a sudden food don't love me. So I have to go around get back in love with my food. So I take an allergy pill. You know, I love corn. You know me and corn. I love corn. And I can't eat it because I break out. I itch from head to foot, right?
Yeah, that was like Naya. She was going crazy, you know? You had to like tie her down.
Yeah.
So you know, the food good. We have to think of nutrition, but we also have to look at the fact that some things that are being, you know, grown nowadays is not even good for us. And my thing is, in the years when we were growing up, we didn't have allergies. It's what they're putting in the
Nothing.
ground.
But now it's
It's
all the
what
chemicals. The
yeah,
chemicals, you
it's the
know?
chemical imbalances that are, that
Because
are creating.
even some of the medication, I remember having surgery back in the 80s, and I was allergic to the morphine that they gave me. And they were
Yeah.
wondering why I wasn't coming out of whatever, and I was under for hours until one, I think, the one that they brought in a specialist that said I
Specialist,
was
yeah.
allergic to it,
Yeah.
to the more. So even some of the medication,
Mm-hmm.
my brother stopped his blood pressure pill because he was allergic to it. All his
Wow.
throat and everything swollen up.
I have an allergy against I don't even remember what it is in cough medicine, but I stopped taking cough medicine. I started making my own things that I know my grandmother put together.
Yeah.
I am not taking any doctor's medicine to tell me that I'm allergic to this, whatever they chemical that they add, So we have, as I say, nutrition is important, but we have to know, especially nowadays with allergies and things that they put in vaccines and stuff, it causes reactions in our lives and our bodies in different ways. So you have to know what your diet is should be, and what you could or can't eat. Like long ago, most people is either too much sugar or too much salt, but now we have all the other things that are
And the
added
thing
to.
is, Pastor Daphne, that as we get older, we don't eat as much food.
No.
So I have a lot of older friends, and what they do is they would buy a meal. Like if we go to breakfast, right? I was laughing, but because I'm always with family, so I'm always cooking. But I was out with older people that when they ordered a breakfast, and if they got 2 eggs, they could only eat 1. And if the eggs came with sausage and stuff, and they said, "Oh, I'll have enough breakfast for 2 more days." And I was like, "What?" But I realized that you really could do that. Like buy a meal.
Because you can't have all of it at the same time, because you're going to end up sick.
Yeah. And it would last you. Yeah. And it would last you the same
time.
And when you buy, you get like a whole assortment. Like one of my cousins, she goes out and she get the meats and the veggies because she's that type of person. So and she always she goes to the Chinese places and she will get the meats and the veggies, and that's me. She said that's meal for the week. When she buys it like that.
That's how, and it's that time in life when you have to think about it, really seriously, simply because salaries, you're not on salary anymore, you're on pensions, and the monies are not the same. It's not taking you to the same length, how it was. But then again, not eating, as much as when you're younger, shows that one meal can, divide it into 2 meals, or sometimes 3, depending on the types of portions that you were served,
And then we get our fruits, right?
Yeah.
And, we can't buy a lot of fruits either.
Because you know what? They put the chemicals in the fruit is causing the fruits to really spoil very quickly. I bought mangoes and
we buy a case of mangoes, and you're spending all this money for a case of mangoes, and then you're lucky if you have 2 proper ones out of a whole case.
And the day you pick them up, they were pretty good, but then a day later, everything started going the other way. So it's not really food that is lasting any time.
Me, I like to buy the mangoes green because I make a quick curry mango. I could make a curry mango, and that's a meal. I love my curry mango and my rice. Right?
But so, you know something?
I make it fast.
My mangoes were both green, and in a day and a half later, they were all ripening all at once.
Yeah, but so whatever when they ripen, were they good?
Yeah, it's something they put in it that's causing all of these issues. Yeah. So also when you're looking at your nutrition, people out there, look at the fruit. even you could, if you find some of the people working in the grocery stores or fruit stores, markets where you go, ask them, how old is the product? Because you don't want to buy something that's over 2 weeks old, and then next thing you know, you only have a day with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because
knowing
when
the time.
we buy fruits, like
Mm-hmm.
if we go out, we buying for at least 2 weeks. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that I found what I never did in my life. I always kept every fruit on the counter, right?
Yeah.
But because it was eaten so fast, right? So
Wow.
now I put bananas in the fridge and I thought they were going to get black, right? And my
Mm-hmm.
granddaughter said, could I have one of your bananas? And I said, sure. And it was just fine still. Because
Oh,
I never put fruits in fridge like that.
well, this is just it.
And I put the bananas in and
Mm-hmm.
they lasted me longer. I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
way, even for us, it's the way we
Mm-hmm.
packaging this stuff.
Yeah.
Even like we buy a lot of seasoning like scallion and all those different things. And I find if you like, wash them and I dry them out with paper towel, make sure I dry it. And then I seal it. Everybody used to put it in the Ziploc bags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tend just to use the saran wrap.
Yeah,
And
because I find that the yes, you're right about that, because the plastic doesn't do any good for them anyhow.
no, but I wrap it with the paper towel and the saran wrap. And
Mm.
believe you me, even my cilantro, I was in shock, right?
It's
Because I
stayed, eh?
could not preserve cilantro. I try everything to preserve my cilantro. I mean, for a week.
Mm-hmm.
When I say preserve, I don't mean for a month or nothing. At least a week, right? And my cilantro always go off. But now I find if I
Uh-huh.
wash it, I dry it, and I really seal it. And I'm
Wow.
teaching my granddaughter because she's doing a lot of cooking. I said, you got to seal the cilantro and this one shadow benny. Like keep it really close and tight. Don't let air
Mm.
go in and we're preserving it. Like you have to
Nice.
preserve because everything is going on so fast on us.
And then they're so expensive now, double price,
Yeah.
plus, depending on what you're buying.
And then you
So,
think about, am I going to be able to have a proper meal? Like I decide to
mhm,
make hot and sour soup and I want some cilantro and my cilantro go off.
yeah.
And we're
So
thinking about how do we keep our food balanced, like our meals.
that's
We
right,
pick up
because
the stuff and the stuff is going off so fast on us.
mhm, mhm. I think,
So
just as much as the groceries out, they're going to have to make the fridges like coolers now. The coolers they have in the stores, like have that frozen area, but most of the things in the other areas, pretty much like the coolers that they
or,
utilize in grocery stores.
or probably the fridge, the temperature of our fridge.
Yeah, should be adjust. There should be different adjustments.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, the temperature of the fridge.
Because if you turn it up, they should be able to have within the mechanism the cooler temperature as well as the frozen temperature, so that when it's in that
Mm-hmm.
area for frozen, at least it's frozen. But when it's in
Yeah.
the other areas, it's at that temperature that will cause them to last,
Mm-hmm.
because they have to do something about the containers that we use for preserving our food nowadays. But that's the way it is. Nutrition is important, and nowadays it's so important to have your balanced nutrition, especially as you grow older, and for the
And a
youngest
lot of water
and for the
passed
youngest
after.
children. Hmm?
We have to drink constant, lots of water with
Water.
us. But I know that we do a lot of water. My
Yeah, you got to
both
drink water all
houses,
the
my
time,
grandkids and
because our body dehydrates quickly.
everybody have water bottles and they keep their water bottles all the time full, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for us, as older seniors, we
Yep.
really need to really drink in that water,
You need, yes. Yep.
you know?
Otherwise, you could feel the mouth dry if your thirst is coming. That means you need water, water, water. So just pump yourself with some water.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. So those are the balances. So as we go along, we look at it, you know, we talk about our environments. Environment is very important to health. You know, if we're looking at fueling the mind through good health, your environment has to be healthy.
Of course, your whole surrounding,
The surroundings must be healthy as well. Yes, it cannot be poison. It
You
cannot
could be. Some people live in polluted. So I think people actually, when you're a child of God, your whole surrounding is very. It's very. It's like it's light.
Yes.
The whole surrounding is light, and you know when
you can feel when a place is heavy.
You're just light, and then
you gotta have that light.
when you are with the Father of
light,
you don't have a choice then to let that light shine. And you know, I tell people, like, don't bring your pollution in my space. Right? I mean, like, you polluted and I walk through with my light. And you know, this morning my sister,
an imbalance.
My sister said, let's go out, and I said, I heard the Spirit of God said, go put on some lipstick and make sure you're looking pretty nice. And of course, I don't want to put on lipstick this morning. I just throw on any old clothes. And there I was this morning. Met people this morning. Now, keep in mind that I thought of this person last week. These are children, you know, I told you, we were Sunday school teachers, right?
Yes,
so these were kids that were in their 20s, and now these kids are grandparents. She's 55, so I met her. I haven't seen these kids for over probably 25 years, but it's so funny. I'm in this place this morning, and I think one of my sisters said, Merle, and she looked up and she said, boy, you can't get rid of that voice, right? And she said, is this Sister Merle? And when I looked, and she told me her name, right? And she told the daughter is 32. And she said, this is the lady that stood up for me in church and told those people, because I got pregnant does not mean that they put me out of the church. Does not mean that I should stop singing. Right? And she showed the daughter. She said, this was my support during my pregnancy.
Excellent.
Right? And I thought, wow, people remember us. The kind,
especially after all those years.
30, her daughter is 32.
And you know what it is? Your voice.
The voice have not changed. The voice. You know, the voice have not changed. She's the second person that recognized me from my voice. I was at a plant store and this lady came around. That have to be Merle. I recognized that voice. And when I looked, it really was somebody that knew me. Right? Yeah. The voice, you know, anyway. But is that 11:30 past the Daphne?
Yes, it is. And you know, it was so nice of you to come on, because I know you have such a busy life. I guess we gotta get on a ship this time, Minister Merle, and take a cruise somewhere.
My sisters had me out early this morning, and I'm saying I gotta get in the house because I gotta make about 3 different calls to arrange stuff for my brother, because today's already Friday, right?
Yeah.
So I need to do stuff for him, you know. It's like I'm a full-time secretary, Pastor Daphne. I said to myself, you know what? This is a business that we should open, Pastor Daphne. Yeah. There is no people, like my brother just needs somebody to take him.
The support.
Go with him to his appointments.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everybody is at work during the day. I think we should open that service. There is nobody out there doing that kind of jobs right now. The
Well, good. That's
PSW
an
is too
idea.
busy.
We'll talk about it when you get back in today,
Yeah.
So it's something
Because a lot of
to do.
seniors could get that job and accompany people to, it's something seniors could do.
Yes, definitely. So let's talk about it and see how we can get it move actioned, it's important. That's important. So it's a great thought, and I think we should have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
What time are you getting back in? You don't even know.
I'm hearing my sisters, they are going for roti and this and that and the other.
Okay. All right. Well, just remember me. Anyway, it's 11:32 and it's time for us to go. It was a wonderful day talking about fueling our mind through good health and putting the right things, the positivity of the mind, the nutrition that you need, and also the environments that you are in should be ones of light and love and stuff like that. So we will probably get on this topic again at some point in time. But in the meantime, for those who are celebrating birthdays, happy birthday, happy anniversary. If you have a new baby coming today, well, God bless you. We lift that child up back to the Lord. We give them back because nowadays people don't know to give their children back to God, protect them through their lives. So we give thanks for those things, and we thank God for the opportunity for another day, for another segment on our program on GEM FM, Community Dateline, talking about our community and life in general. Minister, will say goodbye, and we shall talk.
Bye, everybody. And when you fluid your mind with Christ, everything falls in place.
Into place.
Have a blessed weekend, all.
Each and every one of you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.